Benny Andersson has been a music legend for decades. As one of the masterminds behind ABBA, he gave the world songs that still make people sing and dance today. But behind the glitter and the chart-topping hits, life wasn't always easy. ABBA's breakup hit hard, and Benny faced personal struggles that few fans ever knew about. He kept most of it private, choosing to let the music speak for him. But now, at 78, Benny has finally opened up, about her, about his past, and about what's really going on with ABBA today. And what happened on a London stage in May 2025 left fans completely speechless. Join us as we take a closer look at Benny's journey from the very beginning, and find out what he has finally confessed. Early life and first steps in music. Benny Andersson was born on the 16th of December, 1946 in the Väsastan district of Stockholm. His father Gösta was a civil engineer, and music was in the family's blood from the very start. Both his father and grandfather Ephraim played the accordion. When Benny was just 6 years old, they bought him his own accordion and introduced him to Swedish folk music in a style called Schlager. At 10, he got a piano and taught himself to play. School didn't hold his interest for long, and he left at 15 to start performing at youth clubs. During this time he met his first girlfriend, Christina Granville. Together they had 2 children, Peter, born in 1963, and Helene, born in 1965. In October 1964, Benny's career took a major leap when he joined the pop band the Hep Stars as their keyboardist. Just months later, the band broke through with the hit Cadillac, and quickly became one of Sweden's most famous pop acts of the decade. Benny became not just their keyboard player but the main musical force behind the group, and something of a teen idol. He wrote a string of hits for them, including No Response, Sunny Girl, and Wedding, proving early on that he had a gift for writing songs people remembered. He met Björn Ulvaeus in June 1966, and the two quickly began writing together. Their collaboration would eventually change everything. Meeting the Women Who Changed Everything. In 1969, a single event redirected the course of Benny's personal and professional life. He and Björn entered Sweden's Melodifestivalen with their song Hedge Clown, which came in second place. But far more significant than the result was who Benny met there, singer Anni-Frid Lyngstad. They soon became a couple. Around the same time, Björn met singer Agnetha Faltskog. These two love stories, beginning almost simultaneously, would lay the foundation for the most successful pop group the world had ever seen. The first time all four performed together was in April 1970, during a trip to Cyprus, a spontaneous beach sing-along that turned into an impromptu concert for United Nations soldiers stationed there. By November of that year, they had launched a stage act together. Their performance of Hedge Gamla Man became their first joint hit, reaching number 5 on the charts and spending 15 weeks at number 1 on one major Swedish list. By 1971, Benny and Björn's manager Stig Andersson was convinced they could achieve worldwide success. He pushed them to keep writing, and after a few near misses at Melodifestivalen, international attention finally arrived, first from Japan, where She's My Kind of Girl broke into the top 10, and then in 1972, with People Need Love, which featured Agnetha and Anni-Frid more prominently and even made a small ripple on the American charts. Something was building. They just didn't know how big it would get. Ring Ring, ABBA, and the road to Eurovision. In 1973, the group entered Melodifestivalen with Ring Ring. Many expected it to win. It came third. But the song still became a hit in several European countries, and it was around this time that manager Stig Andersson gave the group a new name, ABBA, simply the first letter of each member's first name, and also a nod to a Swedish fish canning company. Permission was granted, as long as the band didn't bring shame to the brand. A few years later, the now iconic reversed B in the logo was born almost by accident. During a photo shoot, Benny held his letter the wrong way, and when someone noticed, it became the design that defined them. By 1976, the mirrored B was a permanent fixture of ABBA's identity. Then came 1974 in Waterloo. ABBA won the Swedish selection at Melodifestivalen on the 9th of February, and on the 6th of April, they took the Eurovision Song Contest crown. The win opened doors across Europe instantly. Waterloo hit #1 in 9 countries and reached #6 in the United States. Some wondered if they were a one-hit wonder after their next singles showed more modest results. But those doubts were silenced in 1975, when SOS and Mamma Mia became massive hits across Europe and especially Australia, where Mamma Mia stayed at #1 for 10 weeks. By early 1976, ABBA were a household name. Their greatest hits album topped the UK charts, featuring the new song Fernando, which sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Later that year, Arrival took their success to another level, including Knowing Me, Knowing You, Money, 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 and their greatest song of all, Dancing Queen, which topped charts globally, including in the United States. In January 1977, they launched their first major world tour, sweeping through Europe before heading to Australia, where they played for enormous crowds despite heavy rain and a bomb scare in Perth. The intensity of that tour was captured in the film ABBA, the movie. In 1979, Voulez-Vous followed, featuring Chiquitita, I Have a Dream, and Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. A Man After Midnight, another international smash. A sold-out North American tour followed, then 6 nights at London's Wembley Arena. In 1980, they played 11 sold-out concerts in Japan, what would prove to be their final major tour. That same year, The Winner Takes It All was released, a song many believed reflected Bjorn and Agnetha's painful divorce, though both publicly denied it was autobiographical. Agnetha, however, admitted the emotion she put into the recording was entirely real. Super Trooper followed in November, breaking UK records with over 1 million pre-orders, their final UK #1. The two love stories and the beginning of the end. ABBA was always more than a band. It was 2 real love stories playing out under the world's spotlight. Agnetha and Bjorn married in July 1971, with Benny playing the organ at their wedding. They had daughter Linda in 1973 and son Peter in 1977. But fame and relentless pressure wore away at their marriage, and in 1979, at the very height of the band's success, they separated. Benny and Annie Frid, known as Frida, had been together since 1969. They didn't marry until October 1978, when ABBA was at its commercial peak. Just 2 years later, they separated. The real reason eventually became public. Benny had met TV producer Mona Norklet and married her in 1981, the same year his divorce from Frida was finalized. Frida addressed it with striking honesty: they had simply grown apart, and breaking up had become a necessity. There was a lot of tears and a lot of discussions, she said, but there was no way back. Despite the personal wreckage, Benny and Bjorn kept writing. The group recorded one final album, The Visitors, in 1981, a darker, more mature record dealing with failed relationships and the passage of time. One of Us gave ABBA their last #1 in Germany and final top 3 hit in the UK. By spring 1982, the creative process had ground to near halt. New sessions produced only 3 songs, and Benny and Bjorn were unhappy with all of them. Instead of a new album, they released a greatest hits compilation for Christmas with 2 new singles, The Day Before You Came and Under Attack. Neither cracked the UK top 20. The compilation, however, went to #1. Their final public performance together came on the 11th of December, 1982, broadcast live from Stockholm to the UK. Quietly, without announcement, one of the greatest pop groups the world had ever seen had performed together for the last time. Life after ABBA. When ABBA ended, Benny and Bjorn remained extraordinarily productive. Together with lyricist Tim Rice, they created the musical Chess, which opened in London's West End in 1986 and produced the international hit One Night in Bangkok. They then developed Mamma Mia, built around 22 of ABBA's songs. It opened in London in 1999, arrived on Broadway in 2001, and has since been seen by more than 70 million people across 50 productions in 16 languages. 2 hit films followed. Since 2001, Benny has also led Benny Andersson's Orchestra, a 14-piece ensemble blending Swedish folk, pop, and classical elements, releasing multiple #1 albums in Sweden. In June 2025, he returned to the stage with intimate BAO concerts across Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö, performances that received glowing reviews for their warmth and musicality. For decades, the idea of an ABBA reunion was music's most asked question. Offers poured in, including a reported $1 billion in the early 2000s for a concert series, which they turned down. Then in 2018, something shifted. All four began talking again. What started as plans for 2 new songs grew into a full album, Voyage, released in 2021, which immediately topped the UK charts. ABBA Voyage, a new kind of concert. Alongside the album came something genuinely groundbreaking. ABBA Voyage is a concert experience in which digital avatars, crafted using cutting-edge motion capture technology by Industrial Light and Magic, perform on stage as the group appeared in 1979, backed by a live 10-piece band. The show opened at the purpose-built ABBA Arena in Stratford's Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in May 2022, and it has not looked back. 3 years on, ABBA Voyage has welcomed more than 3 million visitors and contributed an estimated £1 billion to the UK economy. The show is booked through early 2026, with auditions announced in mid-2025 for musicians to join the production from December onward, a clear signal and intends to run well beyond that. For the 3rd anniversary in May 2025, 4 new songs were added to the set list: Super Trooper, The Name of the Game, Money, 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 and Take a Chance on Me, giving returning fans a fresh reason to come back. Benny's heartfelt moment with Frida. And then came the moment that nobody in that arena will ever forget. On the 27th of May, 2025, Benny Andersson, now 78, and Annie Frid Lyngstad, now 79, made an unannounced appearance at the ABBA Arena to mark the show's 3rd anniversary. The crowd erupted when they appeared, a rare and deeply emotional sight, given that their marriage had ended more than 4 decades ago. During the show, the two were spotted together in a private dance booth, laughing and chatting warmly. Before the performance, both took the microphone. Frida smiled at the audience and said, "Thank you for all your support over the years. It's hard to imagine it's 50 years now. I'm turning 80 this year." The crowd roared with delight. Benny then stepped up, and rather than offering a grand speech, he made Frida burst out laughing with a playful joke. For the fans in the room, it was more than a throwaway moment. It was a window into something real, the genuine ease and lasting warmth between 2 people who had shared the most intense years of their lives, weathered enormous personal pain, and come out the other side still able to make each other laugh. The VIP after-party that followed added a final, extraordinary layer. Benny sat down at the piano and performed alongside Elvis Costello and Elbows Guy Garvey, who sang a spine-tingling rendition of The Winner Takes It All. Then Frida joined in, singing a few bars herself. The song that once symbolized heartbreak became, in that room on that night, something closer to celebration. As for what comes next, a 3rd Mamma Mia film is now confirmed, with Benny on board as executive producer. On Broadway in 2025, both Mamma Mia and Chess are running simultaneously, a testament to a creative partnership that has outlasted everything: fame, marriages, divorces, and decades apart. At 78, Benny Andersson isn't slowing down. In that moment with Frida in London, 2 people who once loved each other deeply, standing side by side again, laughing, tells you everything you need to know about the man behind the music. So do you think ABBA's personal relationships were the real reason the band fell apart? Or was it always going to end this way? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from music's most fascinating history. See you next time.